Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda and I'm from Amanda Crochets, and in today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful and easy Coastal Stripes baby blanket. The Coastal Stripes baby blanket measures approximately 33 inches wide by 34 inches long. However, you can always change up the sizing of this blanket to be bigger or smaller depending on your preference. I made this baby blanket using Hobby Lobby I Love This yarn, and I used 4 different colors for this pattern. And I really wanted to have a random stripe, so I used the random stripe generator to come up with this pattern. And this is an easy 1-row repeat, so even beginners can learn how to make this pattern. This baby blanket is made using the Suzette stitch or the thicket stitch. So it just consists of single crochet and double crochets. And then for the border, it's just going to be a simple 2-round border using single crochets and slip stitches. And that creates that little stitch right here. So let's get started on today's tutorial and learning how to make the Coastal Stripes baby blanket. So for today's tutorial, you're going to need 1 skein of the following 4 colors. And again, I'm using Hobby Lobby I Love This yarn. And this first color I'm using is called Sea Blue. And this is a 7-ounce skein or 199 grams. It's 355 yards or 325 meters. It's 100% acrylic, and it's a number 4 medium weight yarn, and it is machine washable and dryable. And the recommended hook size is a US I9 or 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. So you're going to need 1 skein of Sea Blue. You're also going to need 1 skein of Antique Teal. You're going to need 1 skein of Linen. And finally, you're going to need 1 skein of Dark Olive. Now you're not going to use the entire skein, so this is what I had left over for each color. And for the Sea Blue color right here, you're going to use basically the entire skein. You're going to have a little bit left over, but again, this is if you are making the same exact size blanket that I am. And I'm going up a hook size from the recommended hook size of I9, and I'm using a J10 or 6 millimeter crochet hook today. So we're going to start off with our chain. So for my baby blanket, I ended up making 100 chains, and if you're going to make the baby blanket bigger or smaller, the only thing you want to do is you want to make sure that your chain is in an even number. So you can make this bigger if you like. You can make this 200 chains, you can make it 160 chains, or you can make it slightly smaller and make it 80 chains. As long as you have an even number of chains, you should be good to go for this pattern. So for the purposes of today's tutorial, I'm just going to go ahead and make a chain of 20. So you're going to start with that Sea Blue color, and to make a chain, you're going to yarn over your hook and pull through that loop on your hook. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Continue until you have 100 chains or your desired chain length. Okay, so once you have your 100 chains or your desired chain length, we can begin row 1. For row 1, you're going to make 1 single crochet and 1 double crochet into the second chain from your hook. So that loop on your hook does not count. You're going to count 2 chains from your hook. So 1 and 2, and you're going to insert your hook into that second chain space, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. and that is your first single crochet. Then you're going to yarn over your hook, insert your hook into that same chain space, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops, and that is your double crochet. Now if you're a beginner, I highly recommend getting a stitch marker and putting it right in that very first single crochet stitch, so that way you know where the beginning of your row is. Next we're going to skip 1 chain space. So this is the one that we just worked in. We're going to skip this next one, and in the stitch after that we're going to make a single crochet and a double crochet. So again, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. And then to make the double crochet, yarn over your hook, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops. And this is your repeat. So again, you're going to skip the next stitch, and in the stitch after that you're going to make a single crochet and a double crochet. Again, you're going to skip that next chain. In the chain after that you're going to make a single crochet and a double crochet. So you're going to repeat this across the entire row of your blanket until you get to the last 2 chains. When you get to the last 2 chains, I will show you how to finish row 1 and move on to row 2. So again, skip that next chain, and the chain after that make 1 single crochet and 1 double crochet in that next chain. Okay, so I have 2 chains remaining. You're going to skip your next chain, and in the very last chain you're going to make a single crochet only. And then this is what your first row is going to look like. So again, I highly recommend putting a stitch marker in the very first stitch and in the very last stitch of each row, so that way you know where the starting and ending chains stitches are, so that way your ends are even, and as you make more rows you're just going to simply move up that stitch marker. So for row 2 you're going to go ahead and chain 1 and turn, and in that very first stitch, which is going to be that single crochet stitch right here, you're going to make a single crochet and a double crochet. So skip that chain 1, and in that very first stitch right here you're going to go under both loops, and you're going to make a single crochet and a double crochet. You're going to skip the next stitch right here, and in the stitch after that you're going to make a single crochet and a double crochet. So essentially what you're doing is you're skipping that double crochet stitch, and when you see that single crochet stitch from the previous row, that is a stitch that you're going to be working in. So again, skip that next stitch, and the stitch after that make a single crochet and a double crochet. Skip the next stitch, and the stitch after that make a single crochet and a double crochet. You're going to repeat this all the way across until you have 2 stitches remaining. So again, skip that next stitch, and in the stitch after that make a single crochet and a double crochet. Repeat this across your entire blanket until you have 2 stitches remaining, and I will show you how to end row 2. Okay, I'm at the end of my row and I have 2 stitches remaining. So I have this one right here and this one right here, and you're going to again skip that next stitch, and in the final stitch you're going to make a single crochet. And this is what 2 rows looks like. So this is an easy beginner pattern, as you're just going to go ahead and repeat row 2 for the entire blanket. So for this first color, sea blue, I end up making 8 rows before changing colors. So I'll go ahead and show you one more time this row, and then I will show you how to change colors. So you're going to chain 1 and turn. In that very first stitch, make a single crochet and a double crochet. Skip that next stitch, and in the stitch after that, make a single crochet and a double crochet. Skip that next stitch, and in the stitch after that, make a single crochet and a double crochet. And again, you're just going to repeat this all the way across until you have 2 stitches remaining. And then when you have 2 stitches remaining, you're going to skip 1 stitch, and in the final stitch make 1 single crochet. This is a very easy and beginner friendly stitch, like I said, and it's a very fun and textured stitch, which I really love. Okay, so we're coming up at the end. So you have 2 stitches remaining. Skip this next stitch, and in the final stitch, make a single crochet. Okay, so you're going to make 8 rows of this first color before changing colors, but for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm just going to go ahead and show you how to change colors. So with that last stitch, you want to go ahead and pull that last stitch out. So you're going to start your single crochet like you normally would, but instead of yarning over with that same color and finishing your single crochet, you're going to drop that color, and you will go ahead and cut about maybe 4 inches of yarn to weave in your tail, and you're going to introduce your new color. So the new color is going to be that linen color right here. Let me just find that end. So you're going to leave a little bit of a tail, and you're going to yarn over with that new color and pull through. And then you're going to give both ends just a little bit of a tug. You're going to chain 1, turn, and continue with the pattern using the new color. So again, single crochet and double crochet in that very first stitch. Skip that next stitch, and in the stitch after that, you're going to make a single crochet and a double crochet. So that's pretty much the pattern. So if you visit my website, you can see the entire blanket as far as the color changes that I did. So I made my blankets the same on both sides, meaning I started with the sea blue, and then I went to linen, and then that antique teal, that olive color, and I just did that random stripe. So I will have the full color sequence on my website. And when I got to the middle of my blanket, I just did the complete opposite. So this is the middle of my blanket, so I did 4 rows, and then I did the opposite. So whatever was on this side of the blanket, I did the opposite on this side. So it made everything nice and even. So So again, go ahead and visit my website in order to get the full color tutorial or the full color sequence. The link will be in the description box below this video. And if you wanted to buy a PDF version of this as well, an ad-free version, I have that link below in the description box as well. So let's now move on, and I can show you how to make this easy and quick border. Okay, once you're finished with your entire blanket, you can go ahead and cut your yarn and weave in all of your ends. And then for the border, you can start in any stitch that you want. I'm just going to go ahead and start in this corner stitch right here. And I'm going to insert my hook. I'm going to get the border color, which is going to be that antique teal. I'm going to leave a little bit of a tail, and I'm going to pull through with that color, and then I'm going to go ahead and chain 1. So for the border, it's going to be a 2 round border. So for my first round, I'm just going to insert my hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. I'm just going to make 1 single crochet around the entire blanket as evenly as I can, and I'm going to make 3 single crochets in each corner. So because I'm starting in this corner, I'm just going to start with 1 single crochet for right now, and then 1 single crochet around the entire blanket except for the corners, and then when I get back to that corner, I'll make 2 single crochets. So going across the top of your blanket, you're going to make 1 single crochet in each of these stitches across. Now if you decide you want to skip the border, you can definitely do that. This blanket is beautiful with or without the border. If you wanted to use a different border, you can do that as well. You can even use a different color. You don't have to use the same color that I am. This is just what I chose. So again, just 1 single crochet across the top of your blanket. And when you get to that corner, you're going to make 3 single crochets all in that same corner. And the reason we do this is because it helps to round out the corners nicely. Then you're going to turn your work, and you're going to work along the side of your blanket. And for the side of your blanket, you're just going to look and try and make your stitches as even as possible. You don't have to have a set number of stitches. You just want to make sure that your single crochet stitches look even. And then again, when you get to that corner, you're going to make 3 single crochets in the corner. Turn your work, and now you're going to be working along the bottom of your blanket. So you might not be working directly in the stitches, you might be working in the chain stitches, and that's completely fine as well. You're just going to, again, make your stitches as even as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up this little swatch for you, and then when I get to the beginning, I will show you how to move on to the final round of our border. Okay, so I'm at the beginning, and we started with that 1 single crochet in the corner, and I went ahead and just made 2 more for a total of 3 for the corner. And then you're going to go ahead and slip stitch into the very first single crochet to end your first round. So for round 2, you're going to go ahead and chain up 3. Oops. You're going to go ahead and chain 3, and you're going to skip the next stitch, and in the stitch after that you're going to slip stitch. So you're going to skip this stitch right here, and the stitch after that you're going to go ahead and slip stitch. You're going to chain 3, skip the next stitch, and in the stitch after that again you're going to slip stitch, and it just creates that really delicate frill. So you're going to repeat this all the way around your blanket. You do not have to do anything special when it comes to the corners. You're just going to simply continue your pattern of chain 3, skip the next stitch, and then you're going to slip stitch into that next stitch. So just do this all the way around with your blanket. Okay, so I'm coming up at the beginning of my round, so I have my chain 3, and I'm going to go right in that very first stitch, and I'm going to make a slip stitch. And then you would cut your yarn and weave in your ends. So that is how you make the very simple frilly border. I really liked how that turned out. And that completes your blanket. So if we look at the Coastal Stripes baby blanket one last time, you can see all the different striping pattern using those 4 different colors. And again, here is that edging or that border. So again, it's a little bit hard to see the entire blanket, but I will have additional photos on my website, and you can find that link in the description box below, as well as the color sequence of how to change colors for this baby blanket. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial on learning how to make the Coastal Stripes baby blanket. Thank you so much for joining me. Please like, comment, and subscribe to see all future videos by me. And as always, happy crocheting! Bye!